Good morning everyone. My name is Sourabh Chakraborthy and I am a Red Team intern at CyberSapiens United LLP. So today our topic is gonna be recent cyber attacks of 2022. So before moving forward, we are going to see the table of contents. So the first topic is what is a cyber attack. The second topic is the impact of cyber attacks. The third is the recent cyber attacks which occurred in 2022, and the fourth is the preventive measures against the cyber attacks. So the most important point is the fourth point, that is the preventive measures. So in the third point I have listed some of the few multinational companies which were having the dedicated cybersecurity team, but still the attackers somehow managed to attack those large multinational companies due to some of the silly security misconfiguration and some of the other reasons which I'll be discussing in the last section of the slide. So first of all, the first question which comes to our mind is what is a cyber attack? So cyber attack is an attempt made by hackers to damage or destroy an organization by attacking into the network. So it doesn't always necessarily means that the attacker will attack onto the internet, that is the service which is publicly exposed all over the world. So most often they always choose to attack the intranet, that is the internal network which is going on within the organization and is not accessible to each and everyone. So there are certain endpoints in the internet which directly interacts with the intranet. So, and due to some misconfiguration, it can be taken over by some attacker. So that vulnerability is called server-side request forgery. That we will be talking about that in some later times. So let's skip that for now. This was only meant to tell you the difference between the internet and intranet and how it can be a really dangerous thing. So now we have the impact of cyber attack. So as we know, cyber attack has caused a great impact not only to the company but also the fin not only to the reputation of the company but also financial side. It can also cause loss of customer trust and sales. So as we have seen in the earlier times, most of the customers tend to move away from that organization which has faced cyber attacks because most of the data has been publicly available for sale on the dark web. So now we have moved towards the cyber attacks which have occurred in the recent days. So the first attack in my list is the Uber cyber attack. So as we know, Uber is one of the largest cab service providers, and not only cab, it provides many other services such as Uber Eats and many other things. So surprisingly, this large multinational company has been attacked by 18 years old attacker, and through a vulnerability, and not a vulnerability, it is a, what should we say, improper training to the employees. It occurred due to improper training to the employees. So the attacker used social engineering to compromise the entire internal network and get access to the numerous AWS servers and the admin directory. So this has occurred because the attacker somehow managed to get the credentials of the person of some person who was working in the organization, and due to some reason two-factor authentication was enabled, and due to some social engineering tricks such as doing a spam call or something, the attacker managed to get the two-factor code of the employee, and then he was able to get access to the AWS server and the numerous admin directory. So next we have the Optus cyber attacks. So as we all know, Optus is one of the largest Australian telecommunication company which has faced a cyber attacks, and this occurred due to certain misconfiguration, and most of its data has been leaked to public. And not only that, the attacker has tried to negotiate it with Optus by demanding a huge amount of ransom. So the Australian government has told them not to pay the ransom, and Optus has been following. So, and there has been a huge chaos in the country regarding this because it is one of the largest telecommunication provider over there, and we hope that this issue will be fixed as soon as possible. And I would also like to say one of the great things which has been done by Optus and other companies which have faced a cyber attack should follow these things is they should notify the users just as Optus has done, like notifying them about the data breach and notifying them about the certain preventive measures which should be taken and so on. Next, we have the Rockstar game cyber attack. So one of the largest gaming community which is owned by Take-Two Interactive and which is named as Rockstar Games is attacked by the same 18 years old kid who has managed to attack Uber. But this time it didn't occur due to social engineering, but it occurred due to some security misconfiguration in the Slack account. So basically, if you don't know what Slack is a place where developers store their code and their personal information. So due to some misconfiguration, the attacker gained access to the Slack account and managed to get the internal data and source code of their upcoming game, which they have been working for 9 years and have spent many dollars on that game. So it has a great negative impact on the organization because the investors are taking their money from the organization, and due to some reason the organization is under great loss. So next we have the Samsung cyber attack. So one of the largest and most popular mobile phone manufacturers is Samsung. So not only mobile phones, Samsung also manufacture many other things such as SSD and most probably lens and all that of the camera. So Samsung has faced data breach which Samsung refused to say to the public. But due to all these news channels and all that, it has been exposed to public about the recent Samsung data breach which occurred, and the sources was not yet sure that how it occurred and whatnot, but it has been observed that in dark web many of the Samsung users' social security number, credit card information were on sale, but Samsung refused to admit it that the data breach has been occurred. So now we have the preventive measures. So first of all, we should provide cybersecurity training awareness to each and every employee of the organization. So as we have seen in the Uber's case, it occurred due to the lack of cybersecurity training. So it is really necessary to provide training to each and every employee so that these attacks can be minimized. Next, we have the proper identity and access management. Like in case of the Rockstar games, the Slack account should have the proper access management, and due to this misconfiguration issue, the attacker could gain access to the private information. Proper security implementation and testing on publicly accessible endpoints. So I remember a couple of days ago, a huge bank was attacked due to the AWS misconfiguration, which led to SSRF, and simultaneously it led to remote code execution. So it occurred because the endpoints were not tested. So it is really necessary to test all the endpoints, and the best case is launch their own responsible disclosure program. Next, we have the proper third-party risk management. So in the Samsung data breach, we have been hearing the news that it occurred due to some third party. So The organization should check that the third party have limited access to their resources. Next, we have the proper cloud access management. Like we know that there are three cloud models such as public cloud, private cloud and hybrid cloud. And in the era of 2022, most of the organizations are moving to hybrid cloud, where they have been using some of the own servers and some of the data is deployed on the cloud. So if proper cloud access management is not implemented, then it can cause a major data breach. So here are the most important measures which one should follow to avoid these kind of data breaches as I have shown in the previous slides. Thank you.